Hope you're doing good. See what the cruise got in store. What can we get into? See if anybody comes through. Been a good day. We're gonna see what we're working with. What we got, what we got, what we got. If anybody comes through tonight, if I don't see nobody in the next 10, 15 minutes, I'll pretty much call it an early night. It just depends because I know that people are out and about. The live stream wire, people are doing things and got things going on. So we shall see what's up. You know, that's going on. So what's up? How you doing? How you doing? I saw what you said. I just got your message about Joe Biden. What's up? I like that. Yeah, I did a video about that. Now that I want to talk on. Um, I agree with what you said. It's true. And there ain't nobody going to then you know, you need about you need about three or four Caitlin Clarks, and that's not gonna change the tide of payment. People don't want to hear what you gotta say. I'm gonna say it like this. Hold up. I'll say it like this. The only female athlete that I seen that should have married that kind of money, just being real, would have been Serena Williams. Serena and Venus at one time probably could have commanded that, especially Serena. I might do a video about that. I appreciate you for making that suggestion. So thank you. You inspired that. I I think I mentioned that uh I gave you a shout out and I went on about, and if you got any other suggestions, feel free. Because I've been on Facebook and they've been showing Dr. J. He's been coming up, and Dr. J, Artist Gilmore were coming up. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. I appreciate that, Seth. It's it was a great conference what Ted said, which is true. I mean, if you go back into um, that era represented an era where you had to have that. You know, when you think about the talent level, you know, I mean, even when I talk about Reggie Miller, even though he was one dimensional, he could push off or get off. You still had to be able to have your hands ready to shoot. You didn't just have, they was guarding you, and you had to make those shots, and he did. So I was very offended by LeBron James. And the fact that I'm offended that he is the all-time leading scorer. If you must know, that's one of the reasons why I have a hard time with him, because I'm like, how can you say that when there was an era you had to have it? Well, Glenn Rice was a spot shooter, but he was strong. He was deceptively strong, and he got his shots up. Reggie Miller was like quick, agile, kick that leg out, and um, it just you just had to have the goods. Guys was guarding you. They were face guarding you. They was putting their hands on you. They was holding you left to right. You had to figure out a way to wiggle and make shots. You just really had to. I mean, if you give some of those guys, one of the things that people have a problem when they say all these old guys are talking this craziness. No, it's a fact. Those guys played in today's game, they would average about 5 or 10 more points, because that was an era where you were stifled. You're not stifled today. I mean, a guy like Steph Curry, because he's a unique situation, but I mean, guys roll a basketball down the court like they're bowling. I mean, it's a different era. You can't even compare it. So I'm offended when people, say this stuff like, oh, you know, they got it way easier today. Way easier. So different era. So I appreciate that, mention that because it's true. I mean, you had so many different types of scorers, you know. When you think about how guys today rely on threes today, Alex English didn't rely on threes. Larry Bird didn't even rely on threes like that. You know, I talked about it, and some might agree with me, some might not. I had a problem with her talking about it from a private perspective. The white aspect of it, I didn't have a problem with because I am tired of this America sweetheart crap. She does get on my nerves, but I don't like him pulling these trolls. Um, it's sad in a sense because he was Hall of Fame worthy, and he basically, you know, that's down the drain. These white folks is not gonna give him, you know, they're not gonna touch him with a 10-foot pole, and he's just trolling now. It's a shame, you know. But she does get on my nerves though. And if I don't really have to talk about her or think about her, I'm okay. I just, you know, I don't want anything to be sexist though. From the racial angle, I am tired of her though. I am tired of her though. They really do talk about her too much. And she's not the best women's college basketball player I've ever seen. She happened to do something that hadn't really been going on, you know. She's all right with me. But I do think that there's an agenda with them too. I think if they can create a Larry Bird, Magic Johnson thing to kind of pump some life in the WNBA. But if you watch my video, I did make some suggestions about female payment and how they could do something. I said, well, they should have the women play an all-star game with the men. Um, they should have exhibition games where they mix them up. I say, sure. No one cares about the NBA exhibition season. The all-star game is even worse. So why don't you have like a mix? Yeah, I seen that. I seen that. Melo is street. He's cool. That makes sense. That makes sense. She's got street and a vibe about her, so that makes sense. I liked her game, you know, and you know, but AB went too far. But that's what he's doing now. That's how he's gonna be remembered. So, well, he was from Baltimore, so he put up gang signs. So his was a different type of scare. But I think they would have welcomed him had he been more, because he wasn't so scary when he got to New York, and he wasn't scary as his career went on. Mm, I think that he's, he's trolling more than anything. I wish it was 18. He's, you know, his cornrows may have, but his game didn't. Iverson scared him more. Melo wasn't scary as AI. And besides, Melo was cut from the same cloth, but he wasn't scary as AI. AI had him worried though. So, well, listen, MG, I don't know who you are. You before you come asking red or blue or red and white, why don't you introduce yourself, where you from, and what you got to say? If not, you're gonna hit delete it. Larry Brown did not like kids, and he had to go with Darko because of foreign player. I got it, But they would have been better off getting Dwayne Wade. D Wade would have been a better fit. Because if you put D Wade with those guys, the way Rip and She play, they would have been problematic. That would have been a dynasty with D Wade. Because if you want my honest opinion, one Shaquille O'Neal aside, Alonzo was good off the bench, but everybody in Miami was either past the pull date or on the side. Detroit had the better situation for him to have a long run, if you want my honest opinion. Had Pistons gone after him. The setup and the makeup was more longer because they went to 4 or 5 straight Eastern Conference Finals, if you remember. They had a better setup. And he'd have been a way better fit for them than Antonio McDyess, who they did get to the finals with. I'm just saying. So, but Larry Brown was going to keep Chauncey and Rip, and then before he burned his bridges, and they ended up getting Flip Sanders. So, so. Ooh. So, I'm very familiar with Larry Brown. He remember he coached Reggie Miller in Indiana. I mean, he's one of those kind of guys. He builds you up for 2 or 3 years, and by year 4, you didn't had enough of Larry Brown, and then you fire him by year 5. It's the same old story with him, except it didn't last as long in New York. They won't do that. I know I saw that. You got that from Rob Parker and Chris Broussard. They won't do that, though. Because then they would actually have standards. But you got to stop thinking that they go by who's the greatest because it's stupid. And then their standards are based on a hybrid of things. That's why it's stupid to have all-time lists because you have to include ABA or you might include college or you might include this. So they have a way, of manipulating things. That's why I say Robert Horry should be in the Hall of Fame because you don't really have a cold-cut case to make in cases. You got some guys now who were really good or very good or pretty good. They're not Hall of Famers. There's a big difference between being a HOF and a guy who had a pretty good career, and it gets lost. And then some heads get offended. I don't get offended because the NBA is not a high standard of Hall of Fame. The NFL is not a high standard of Hall of Fame. And MLB is the joke who still plays the old rules to fit their agenda, but they watered down and they're not either. So the Hall of Fame is essential to a certain extent, non-essential to a bigger extent. If that makes sense. That's why they don't mean nothing to me. I remember when guys were Hall of Famers and there was no questions asked. Now you get some guys come up in there and you scratch your head, you gotta go, and then you gotta think. You should never have to. That's one thing Skip Bayless said, that if he never says anything else correct, and he don't to you often, he was right. If you're a Hall of Famer, we shouldn't be having to scratch our head to wonder if you are. We shouldn't. But the Hall of Fame then turned into one of them clubs you go to, and you get in, you don't. You get in, you don't. And they don't make no sense. So I got nothing. I got no use for it. So none of them Hall of Fames have their own anything. I mean, and they don't really give you good criteria no more. So I've been know that. And I told you last December so that the Lakers, I said I've been hearing that for like 3 months, 4 months. Been know that. They done with him because he's a one-dimensional junior double whopper Steph Curry without a Draymond or a Clay. And he plays perimeter ball and he stat pad and the team is just mediocre. He bought himself a Fisher Price run when they got to the Eastern Conference Finals and they won that game against Milwaukee back in 2021. How long ago was that? Okay. Because you're about to go up on 4 years since they last was a threat. So I saw that coming. He can't shoot that well. He don't defend. He's turnover prone. They suck, but they still a playing worthy type team. But that's as good as they get. And now that, how you doing today? Okay, good to see you. Good to see you, Rebecca. Now that you got a Jalen Brunson over there, that takes him out the equation because you got another guard who's feisty, is athletic. Then you got Brunson in Indiana. Where is he fit? But don't get it twisted. He gonna be around for another 5-10 years easily. He'll be a Hall of Famer because he'll land somewhere, and he'll because he can shoot, and they put up with him. He's a made man as far as that goes. But as far as like him ever, when we start talking about who got the better end of the Luka trade, that ship about to sail this year, finally. Because Luka up until this year, I mean, they both had gone to a conference finals, but I don't think it's any question now. You know. So, okay, Rebecca T, tell me about yourself and how are you? Good to see you. There's not going to be anything that will keep a discussion because he's not even going to be an all-star no more. So, but he bought himself a career. I mean, I'm shrugging my shoulders with Trey, but it is what it is. And if he plays 5, 6, 7 more years and he scores points, he'll be a Hall of Famer by default. No, they not. You make moves. You ain't no crossroads. You make moves. And what it means is that you have to use common sense. Ain't no crossroads. You know Steph's got about 2 or 3 years left in the top tier tank, and that's it. Clay's old. Draymond is old. Got something there, but not enough there. You need some defenders. You need to get young. If that means that you don't be nothing for a couple years, you give Steph Curry one or two cracks at it. But you can't play with what you got. You didn't fell off too bad. You're lighting the cakes in the glass. You don't have a bench. And you can't close out games. They lost 4 or 5 games because they couldn't finish. So that's one of the reasons why they butts at home now. They lost that first game to the Lakers. They lost 2 or 3. They lost to Denver at the buzzer. You know, when you lose 3 or 4 games and you can't finish, that's on your coach. That's on you. And that's where they're at. So they're not at no crossroads. They got to get smart. That's what it comes down to. Tell Clay, you got to strictly be a bench man if we keep you. Draymond, you can't get suspended. You can't even look funny. So much you got to go. So I wouldn't even waste my time. Go after somebody, you know. There was rumors about Miles Turner. They need somebody in the glass. They need they got how we're going to do with Wiggins. I like the cats, the young cats. I like Kamingas. I like the other cat they got, but they just don't have the horses no more. Teams done caught up with them. That's the bottom line. Everybody does what they do. And right now, they're just slightly better than a 500 team. And they're not putting no fear in nobody. Oh, they still Steph respect. But no one is fearing Golden State no more. So that's what they got to do. Ain't no crossroads as far as I'm concerned. It'd be one thing if I thought they were a championship worthy team. They're not. Okay. All right, come on now. Let's get some conversation going. Get quiet on me now. What you mean? Oh, um, I don't know why. I don't know why. I mean, they were eighth seed, seventh seed. That's not defensive player of the year. Your team has to be top tier for that consideration. I can't do that. Nothing from me. Not no eighth seed. See, when you get any conversation for making those kind of conversations, I'm old school. You gotta be a top four team. You gotta have an impact. Your team gotta be better defensively. I'm not, and he's no, no. I'd say in the top three or four conversation with it, but no. I think somebody, or was it Paul Pierce said the Nuggets in Dallas in these Western Conference Finals. That's the only two that I take serious. I don't take the Lakers serious. I just don't. To me, if they do get away, it's because there's some agenda. I'm not buying them. I haven't seen anything that I've seen that made me think, oh, they were a championship threat or a team. Dallas, I'll give you. I don't get excited about third tier teams. You are your record. I'm sorry. Bill Parcells was right. Not selling me on no third tier mediocre team. I'll give you Dallas. I'll give you Dallas. I think Dallas is more legit. And for the record, I'm not hating on the Lakers to be hating on them. I just don't buy them as a legit team. That's all. He should be. He should be. Because the truth of the matter is he put himself in a predicament. You know, with everything that happened in Brooklyn, post Cleveland, Boston, he put himself in a predicament. And he need to let his basketball do the talking. And I hope he does do well. Because I like him. But he put himself in a predicament. He is held accountable. Now that mess that happened with the Jewish video and all that, that wasn't his fault. He didn't say nothing wrong. It was payback because he didn't want to take the jab, and that's a choice. However, his stuff has been basketball related. He stunk in Boston because him and Gordon Hayward didn't do nothing. They got Tatum and Bill. I like Kyrie more than James who? James who? I like Kyrie more than James who? Which James are we talking? Yeah, as far as team ball, yeah, because he been to the finals. James Harden ain't never been to no finals. Now James Harden's a better player, but he ain't better as far as if you're gonna have a sidekick. Kyrie did step up in the postseason. Kyrie did come up in the regular season. James Harden is one of the greatest players I've ever seen in the regular season, one of the worst players I've ever seen in the postseason. So take that how you want. He did have two moments last year for Philly. I'll give him that. He stole a couple of games from the playoffs. But when he's off, there's not much to him. But he hasn't had the consistency Kyrie's had in the postseason. He had the stage too. And the truth is, we should be talking about James Harden as one of the greatest, top somewhere between 23 through 31 greatest players ever. We're not, because he didn't deliver. I do like Kyrie more. Yeah, I told you about that. That was that night when they was it the NBA All-Star weekend, and that Saturday night, and she was going to his car, and they tried to play it off like they was going in different directions because he had the little bat in his hand. They were taking some batting practice or something. Yeah, that's your welcome into the industry. Welcome to the league. Hmm. I mean, you welcome to the team. He ain't the first one. That ain't the first rodeo. He's a newbie though, so he don't know. That don't make no difference. You, groupie love don't have no age, yo. As long as you grown, you legal, was oh well. And she's gonna carry herself as well as some 20-year olds right now. Know nothing about that. What's up? What's up? Gave him a cup. What's up? What's happening? Where you coming from? That ain't gonna stop them. Them old that old 304. What's up now? 304 don't have no limits, yo, because they competing. Man, you know what it is. You put up or you shut up, and that's what's gonna be the case. So, you know what's up. I ain't lying. That's why Gilbert Arenas. Remember Gilbert said nobody over 34 about the groupies. Appreciate you. Thank you. You remember Gilbert did that at the All Star game some years ago. Thank you for appreciate that Gamer Cup. Gilbert came out and said, "I don't want no 34-year-old groupies in the." I'm telling you, this stuff be real. Hmm. Okay, I'll add to you. I'll check you out. Well, yeah, yeah. The drummer too. Yeah, and Patty's still thick too. So, Patty got that big old ham hock body. Untime. Patty got that big ham hock body. She got around though. Hmm. A lot of stories about her, y'all. So, but I know about her and the drummer though. They've been going on for about 10 years. Patty got me beat by. She got me about 25 years, 24, 25 years. But she bad though. She bad though. She she always been thick. Old freak too. Cooking all, cook the house up. Stay away from them Patti LaBelle pies though at Walmart. Thank you. Stay away from them pies though. That mess sucks at Walmart. That stuff ain't nothing but a diabetic party ready to happen. You gonna go have to call the paramedics. Pies was so greasy. When she got older, she got thick. She wasn't always the case because it wasn't until she got about 55 when she had Evan, the last batch of kids. That's when she got thicker. Oh, I laugh on here. There's a lot of humor. You're gonna find us cracking jokes about people. Yeah, she was always a toothpick, sexy toothpick, but a toothpick till she got about 55, 60. Starting filling out. She filling out now though. Must be eating some collard greens now in Connecticut. But Patty always had it like that though. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she made me cross-eyed. She'll definitely make me cross-eyed. I know. And crazy thick. Okay. Tracy was stacked. But yeah. No, I'm just chilling. Just chilling, laying back. I'm not, you know. It's been a little bit nippy here outside, so I just kind of like get my flow on. That's all. Trina. Are you kidding? Even though she's hardcore 304. Hardcore 304. Now Shanti better looking, but Trina was thicker. That's not even fair. I don't blame you though. What was that one she did with Warren Sappin, bro? Who's bad? Did the Michael? She was bananas back then. Bananas. But women's. Talking about R&B singer Ashanti and rapper Trina. You ever heard of either one of them? Depends on how old you are and depends on where you grew up. Cause okay, well yeah, it depends on how old you are and where you grew up. Ted cracked me up mentioning Trina because I don't really even think about Trina and like she did something recently, but I forgot. But I forgot all about Trina though. Yeah, I give you that. Turned out better too. Yeah. But not back in the day though. Not back in the day. But overall, I give it to you as time went on. Look more cleaner too. Trina look kind of ashy. I give you that. No, she ain't. She ain't. That don't mean she ain't do nothing strange for the change in industry, but no, she's not home team. But if you want to go that route, most of the rappers, female, are like that anyway. I bet you Trina probably did though. Just saying. But I never heard anything about Maya though, because actually Maya turned down a lot of stuff. She talked about it. No, she wasn't, because she predated her. You mean you would if you said the other way around, I might believe you. No, but Foxy was already around. Yep, Foxy was with Jay Z when she was 15. Back when ain't no back in '95. Foxy been around since '91, yo. She's from the islands. Eve didn't come up with Rough Riders to the end of the '90s. Now, Eve was a puppy when she came out, but Foxy got a beat. Foxy was real young. They might be the same age. I'm not for sure because Foxy been out since she was 15. That's a known fact. She had the dance hall. She was doing reggae. She had a record out in 91. And she was with Jay-Z. Yeah. Foxy been around, yo. Foxy could be a bombshell in the industry too. Because she was messing with Jay-Z back then. The stories they got. She was supposed to come up with a tell-all book too. But it got canceled. I wonder why. Yeah, I could see that. She had the hair too. She looked like a Junior Whopper Brandy. I could see that. And if you remember, her solo career started off first too. Because Dilemma was a hit. I think that was the blueprint for her Beyonce with Jay-Z. So that was the blueprint. Because Dilemma was a big song, which sampled Patti LaBelle. So, oh, I remember back. All I think is you. Oh, that was big back then. That was big. It's 22 years ago. Different era. She had the hair. Alicia had the body. Brittany had appeal. But Beyonce came along and had a little bit of all that. And the first three then all faded. So unless you grew up and you got nothing but memories, that's all you got now because no one talks about those three no more. Kelly then fade into oblivion almost. And Alicia is just kind of like an oldies but goodies. And Britney's seen as nutty. So just saying. But I remember when all that was true. So what was I heard about the airplane with Mariah? Some dude went in an airplane behind her. And then the Mary J story was when she was messing with Pac, sat on his lap. And that was something that was those two stories I heard. Mary wasn't cool early on in her life either. She did a lot of coke. There's a lot of stuff that went on. But Mariah's a big old town boy. So it's none of that surprising. Because I always felt she had like arrested development. She just she could sing and she caught on, but yeah. That ain't why he didn't marry her. She talked too much. She wanted to control. That's common. That ain't what stopped him. She just, sometimes you got to know your limitations. That's common in the industry. So it's not like, that wouldn't stop you. Y'all hoping that's what y'all want. But how many threats you got in the West? Shoot, how many people's a threat? Oh God, here goes the echoes in the building. I'm not trying to hear all that. You're talking to the wrong person. Because if they fool around and get something, I'm gonna think it's fraudulent anyway. You talking to the wrong person. I don't feel that they're no threat. Sorry, I don't get excited about no playing tournament team. So you talking to the wrong person. I think y'all disrespectful to the Denver Nuggets. And I think you're disrespectful to Dallas Mavericks and OKC in Minnesota. I'm sorry, I don't get excited about no SMAC team. They're not too cheap. They just can't attract nobody. There's a difference. There's nobody wants to come there. They can't get who they want. And they can't make it happen. We won't be having this discussion if Giannis had came to Miami. But they didn't get him. They're not too stubborn. What they stubborn about? Stubborn. They're not. They tried to package a deal, and when it being stuck with would have been stuck with Dame Lillard. That's not stubborn. That's smart. Problem is that guys are hurt, and they got too much of the sameness. That's the problem. It's not stubborn. I wish y'all would say what y'all say they cheap and they stubborn. How are they cheap? Can't land the big fish. And I don't know who they can land that's a big fish today. He might do it. He might just do it. I mean, if they don't become a postseason threat, he just might. And so what's that got to do with anything? Jerry West is older than him. What's that got to do with anything? They just can't land that name, that's all. And I don't know what name they could land. Yeah, he's older. Jerry West been around forever and a day. You got to tell me what makes Pat Riley worse off because I don't know. Yeah, I remember that. What about it? No, but check out make a sense. Y'all up here telling me on one hand he you telling me on one hand he need to be fired. He too old. On the other hand, y'all telling me so make up your mind. I know what Spo wanted. He wanted him fired before that. He wanted him fired back in 2010, the first year. They were starting off the season 8 and 9. That's what it was. When Clutch Sports started getting bigger, he wanted to have Maverick and them sitting in the taking over and all that. He didn't want that. That's what happened. I don't really care what LeBron wants, okay? I really don't. Cause he gets to, he's a bit much. He's a bit much. He wants everybody to kiss his ring and make everything else like this and any other, you know. I'm gonna tell you something. When he starts his wheels start to come off on the court, I'm gonna crack up. It's gonna happen. And then what? It's gonna happen. It ain't gonna be nothing nice. But I know the powers that be want him to have a nice long run. Even if they somehow were to get by Denver, they still wouldn't make the finals. I wouldn't see it because they're gonna have a couple. They're gonna be an injury or something that's gonna mess them up. I just not buying what I'm seeing. I just don't buy them. Too many things have to go their way. It's not buyable. I don't see it. I don't see it. No, he ain't. But what he's a traitor of is that participating. How you gonna play when your body's breaking down most of the year? Why would you even waste your time? I tell you to come back in 2028. I wouldn't even come out this year. That's the problem. Because he's an American citizen now. But the problem I have with him is even playing. That's my problem. My problem is he's even attempting to play because he's been hurt most of the year. You lost out on MVP this year. And you are trying to, you know, you're trying to act like you're going to do something and it's just embarrassing. So that's how I have a problem with him. I'd be better off if he didn't even bother coming back till 20. I know it might be telling him wait 4 years for another, but you're not really, you got to be trying to compete for a title. You can't be worrying about some gold medal. So I understand it where Steph is concerned because Steph never done it before. So he needs another thing to put on his mantle if that was to be the case. This is LeBron's last hurrah. There won't be another one in 4 years. Oh, come on now, please. Don't insult my intelligence. Please. Don't even do that. Come on now. Come on. 92 in a blowout and twice on Sunday. Come on now. That's not even funny. Um, Charles Barkley would tear they behind up by himself. Feel like you is, because I saw the dream team. LeBron, AD, Anthony Edwards is a nice. I'm more concentrating on the younger cats. Steph is gonna be interesting to an extent on this, but Kawhi Leonard, Joel Embiid, you turkeys can't even stay healthy. What y'all doing over there? Um, no, no, no. Charles Barkley would have tore their butt up. It's not even close. It's not even close. I'm not buying Devin Booker on this team, and um, mm-mm, mm-mm. So I think that was making me laugh. I had to stop for a moment. I had to laugh. Yeah, but he couldn't mess with the that team back then. Oh, here's the echoes again. He could not see no David Robinson back then. No, I don't. There's nothing that this team's got that's seeing that team. That 92 team was too loaded. Granted, Magic and Bird were older, but Jordan and Pippen, you still had Karl Malone, John Stockton, you had Charles Barkley, Dave Robinson. Come on now. You're not seeing those guys. You're not seeing those guys. He's played good. I'll give you that. He's had a very good year, and he's actually stayed healthy. I'll give you that for a change. But they still an AFC team, so 7, 8 seed, 17. So how is he that dude? You're not a 50-win team. You just got through the play-in tournament. Come on, I'm not impressed. Don't again. This is the problems I have with certain things when people get on their fandom about some people. And you want me to be impressed? Be a top 4 seed team, win 50 plus games, stay healthy, and make your teammates better. I don't see nothing that impresses me. I just don't see it. In time, I like to feature what I call more legendary acts. In time, he's not on my agenda right away, but I might put him on there for some. I gotta think about it though. I liked him when his debut album came out. He had the first record was cool. The second record had like 2 songs, and the third record had a song or two, and that's it. His writing for others is what he blew up on. But he might come up. It will be for a minute though. So, but thanks for Donna Summers thing because she's underappreciated and she hasn't gotten her due. Underrated in white world, not underrated in black world. And maybe with the youngsters coming along of a certain age, but if you're, you grew up on her, she ain't underrated. Um, for me, yeah, but it's debatable. I mean, when you think about it, Tina had the bigger solo career and the bigger live act. So this comes down to preference. I listen to Mashaka more, but Tina was an influence on her though. You couldn't have really avoid Tina. Yes, she did. Because you gotta remember something. She was big with Rufus and Shaka Khan. They had big hits. She worked with Quincy Jones. In her solo career, she worked with David Foster, who was a white, big time record producer, songwriter. She talked a certain talk, but she was drugged up. She was into different things. I'm not gonna say she would talk trash, and I think it did cost her a bit. But they all kind of got to shuffle. You all got to kind of do something. You don't, she was working with, when you're working with the likes of David Foster, I mean, you got to remember something. You're working with Air Mardine, who was one of the biggest producers ever. So she wasn't working with Joe. It wasn't like she was working with Joe Potatoes and she was too black. And, she had big hits. I'm Every Woman was a big hit. Ashford Simpson wrote that. She had big hits. The Cover I Feel For You, Prince wrote, was really from his 79 album. She had big hits. They didn't push her, but she wasn't lacking. She was known. You got to remember something. Whitney was a kid. Clive got her as a kid. Music is a different animal when you ask this. But again, it's the same criteria. It doesn't mean the better artist. Bag is different. So if I'm just going by the bag, we're just strictly talking the bag, right? I'm going to say Janet Jackson because she had a better. Yeah, because Whitney was she was a youngster. She's in her early 20s. And they signed her and she did background work in 83, 82. She did Pendergrass background Jermaine Jackson. She was his jump off. That's a whole nother story. She had done some background session work. Her mama hooked it up. Clive got her in. Clive got her after this photographer. It was actually a photographer dude who discovered Whitney. Clive didn't even feel Whitney at first like that. Neither one. Bobby was with Maurice Starr with New Edition. Bobby's problem is that his brother ran his career. And Bobby made some suspect choices, but Bobby was a wild one. Now, Clive wanted Whitney and Bobby never to get married. He thought he was bad for her image. There was no Quincy Jones connection. But Clive thought he was too black for her. And at the time they got together, Bobby was big. But yeah, the bitter bag is going to be Janet because she could do more with her styles than Patti LaBelle could. Patti got more talent, but that's not the same argument. Yeah, Kadita and yeah, they got work. One of them, Rashida. Rashida is the one. Rashida, yeah, Rashida. Rashida almost looks light enough to almost pass for white, but she ain't. But she looks. She does all those commercials, and yeah, I don't pay a lot of mind. She do, but QD3 got his face too. His son QD3 producing. So yeah, yeah. QD3 been producing beats for years because I used to buy his stuff. He worked with Pac. He worked with a lot of people. You know, beat maker dude. He all right. I don't really talk about him too much, but he all right. I didn't even know. Hulk Hogan's daughter was a trip. Hulk Hogan said a lot. I don't even know. He light enough to pass though, but don't let Hogan use some of his tirades though, because he didn't say some stuff. But business is business too, so you got to understand how them industry relationships work too. So just saying that don't mean nothing. I take your word on that. But again, cats arranging dates with industry people, that's pretty common. That don't mean Hogan ain't racist though. He didn't say it a mouthful. So I don't know. Well, back in the day, and I went a long time ago. I saw Earth, Wind and Fire in concert. Michael Jackson. I seen a lot of people in concert. Earth One was probably the best I saw for me. Saw a lot of people back then. What about you? And was there anybody you wanted to see that you didn't get to see? Okay. Pink Floyd. Dude, I like those theatrics. I like the progressive sound. Santana would, and I probably would have liked to seen Pink Floyd about with Roger Waters. It probably been like 25, 30 years ago if I had got a chance. And Santana, back in the day, I wouldn't want to see anything after Smooth though. It's too commercialized because he really just did so much. But he's got his wife now playing, so that would actually be cool with Cindy Blackman Santana. She's a bad dress. She used to be with Lenny Kravitz. She's a bad chick. She's bad on the skin. She can play. But when he does his corny pop stuff, I like to hear him solo because I like the tone and the percussion. But his corny singing people, no. But I like his old stuff. Pink Floyd, I like. They had some tight stuff. Yeah, I like Carlos is cool. I just don't like his pop forays when he has his white boy singers. That's all. Some of that stuff be corny. But his musicianship I respect, and he talks real talk. Yeah, it was cosign, cosign. Everybody at Woodstock back then was bringing it though. I ain't not seen nobody that everybody. That's what I be talking about when people ever ask me why I hold old school in such high regard. You had to bring it through the woodshed. Now I'm gonna tell you something. You know who put Santana on at Columbia Records back then? It was Clive Davis. And then you fast forward 30 years later with Supernatural, Clive Davis. Take that how you want to take it. But anyway, Santana was in his element there. He was in his element. In his element. So was Sly and the Family Stone back then. Yeah.
As an advocate of dating multiple women at once, being married before, what are your thoughts on legalizing polygamy?
Legalizing polygamy? I didn't know it was illegal.
It's illegal. You can't get married, but you can obviously have more than one girlfriend.
I feel like in the realm of...
Anyway, I just got through watching the video. Neo's walking down the street with 2 girlfriends. Interesting. In case you wonder what happened with Neo. That's one of them, and then I would probably say the soundtrack to Minister Society was tight. I thought that one was tight. So those 2 come to mind. The ones I probably would like would probably be somewhere between 92 to about, probably somewhere between 92 to about 96 if that was the case. So I'd probably just say, yeah. Asking me about rap soundtracks, that's a lifetime ago, though. I mean, I have to think because that's been a long time since that's been.
Polygamy.
Legalizing polygamy? I didn't know it was illegal.
It's illegal. You can't get married, but you can obviously have more than one girlfriend.
I feel like in the realm of love and romance, you should let people do whatever the hell they want to do.
Yeah?
Can't see how it's hurting anybody.
Exactly. Do you think it should be legalized?
Sure, why not?
Would you fight with the at the in DC with the lawmakers?
No, because to be honest, I don't need the government to tell me what it is I can and can't do.
Yeah.
It's my personal life. So.
But if you wanted to get married to more than one woman, would you consider doing that? Or would you want to even get married to multiple women?
I don't know.
Yeah?
Depends on the situation. I'm not gonna let it ruin my day.
Okay.
At the end of the day, the people I love know I love them and they love me.
Why don't you write songs about dating multiple women? You're always just like, gassing up one lady at a time when you're writing music.
I mean, the songs come out depending on the situation and the circumstance.
Okay.
I'm just listening to Neo right
First
now.
time that I've been in a relationship or situation like this, so
And how
not
is
to say
it?
that no songs about it will come to pass. They'll come.
I love it.
I don't force it when it comes to music. It happens naturally. It happens organically.
You recommend the situation you're in now?
No.
Why?
I don't recommend anything to anybody. What works for me might not work for you, and vice versa. So
Girls?
find out what works for you.
Can I ask your girls, would you want to get married with two women and Neo? Something you'd be open to? See you guys, bye.
That was funny. I got distracted because Neo was walking down the street with two girlfriends. I ain't paid Neo no mind in so long. But anyway, what's so funny? Was it the Neo thing or what I said about the Bucks Pacers? If Giannis ain't playing, the Pacers are gonna win that in 5. Because I think Doc Rivers will find a way to mess it up. Do tell me what's so funny though. He just doesn't finish. That's my problem. He just doesn't finish. And I just don't know why Milwaukee's such a strange odyssey. They can't get the right coach. And Dame's not the right fit. If they get knocked out early, going to be some major changes there. He is. He is. And he actually didn't have to be. But he messed up so many good things. So I try not to really think about him because it's like one of them situations where, yeah. But it be what it be. So they not my team, so I ain't gonna worry about that. No, because he's got a ring. When you win a ring, when he lost that second one to the Lakers, the second time, that's where you become a Fisher Price. When you win a ring, you get a pass. Now, if he was still coaching Boston for 15 years, then I'd say Fisher Price. But they didn't let him sit there like that. And of course, you saw what happened with the Clippers, and then you seen what happened with his meltdowns with Philadelphia. So, no. But he's one ring away from being a Fisher Price. Because it's almost like it was almost by, to me, he hasn't done enough to justify. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, AG. Glad to have you. To me, he hasn't done enough to justify not having Tim Duncan and Grant Hill in Orlando. I ain't forgot that. I'm sorry. 2 trips to the finals, 1 ring and 1 not, runner up. It's big on your resume, but everything else between the Clippers and the Sixers, and if this mess falls off, oof. And of course, his Orlando days. So when you think about it, he's got a big question mark around him. So I just don't know. He's legit in terms of the fact that he's got a ring and he's been to 2 finals. But if he messes up in Milwaukee, he's gonna be one of them guys that there's gonna be a lot of question marks. Because you don't get to coach. No, he's not. No, he's not. No one believes that lie. They was talking about Spo Paul Pierce called him the best coach today. Ain't nobody gonna say that about no Doc. Spo wins with less. Are you kidding me? Are you for real? Are you for real? And look, y'all tripping. Y'all is tripping. Y'all don't know what y'all smoking. Y'all tripping. How? Explain why and how. Make it make sense. I have Giannis and Giannis. I have Jimmy Butler. Spo's been to 2 finals with Jimmy Butler. When the last time Doc been to a finals? And he had Blake Griffin and CP3 in the Clippers. He had Joel Embiid in Philly. He had James Harden in Philly. Maxey in Philly. Make it make sense to me. The last time Doc's been to a finals, there wasn't even a such thing. It is his fault because he failed in Philly. I was watching the broadcast, forgot who it was. They said that Nick Nurse is the best coach that Joel Embiid's ever had. Now you tell me if that ain't an ET ouch. Come on now. You ain't gave me no reasons why he's better. He ain't better than no Spo. His X's and O's, he don't finish games as a coach. He hasn't directed with the talent he has had. He's had better talent than Spo. And he got 1 ring in Boston. 2 trips. No rings in the Clippers. With a peak and prime Blake Griffin with CP3. Philadelphia with Joel Embiid, James Harden, Maxey. No finals. And now he's in a situation with Giannis where they stunk the last run. What are you trying to say? He's had 3. When he had Orlando, he had a chance against Tim Duncan. He didn't do it. Orlando was a nice story. He's had multiple coaching jobs. 2 finals, 1 and 1. Everything else, he underachieved. What am I not getting? Spo went post LeBron, D Wade, Bosh, Ray Allen. 2 trips to the finals with Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero Robinson in a 4-year window against a better Boston Celtic team. That's coaching. But anyway, something I'm not getting. I don't see it. So you got your choices and your decisions, and I'm not going to argue with you on it. But you asking me, it ain't up for discussion. Okay. I think that's my cue. I'm going to call it a night because I'm not going to get into this. This is not, I'm not hearing any real reasons. I just feel people don't like Spo, and I don't really understand, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. You give Spo, Blake Griffin, CP3, you give him Joel Embiid, Maxey. You give him Giannis, Dame. He's going to finish with better results. He's not half-stepping. Doc Rivers half-step. I can't clap for that. Brother or no brother. He's had multiple chances. And all I see is slightly better than mediocre results. I don't see where he really has a place to be held in the same regard. Because to be honest with you, I don't even know if Doc at this stage is as good a coach as Tyronn Lue. We're going to find out. I think more people got more hope in the Clippers going further than they do the Bucks. And Giannis is better than anything the Clippers got right now. Make no mistake about it. But having said that though, I ain't sold. So eh, that's why his team's in the playoffs. That's why his team was the top. They won the Western Conference. They won their the Pacific Division, and they didn't have to play in tournament. And regardless of what happens against Dallas, despite how they were, they still won 50 plus games. I'll take that bum over what Doc Rivers did in Milwaukee because I still see so much disfaction. I don't see no. I see so much dysfunction in Milwaukee. It's not even funny. But don't take my word for it. They don't come out of nowhere. Damon's gone this year, and Giannis is gonna think about it in a couple of years because they didn't get the coach part right. There were gonna be some heads rolling, but you don't have to take my word for it. I don't see nothing there with them, so they didn't dodge it. Pat Riley did his due diligence. Pat Riley wasn't gonna waste his money on a cat that's a one-trick pony. That's the difference. That's what you don't do. You can tell that that cat ain't gonna work out. So it's doing all right. I'm getting ready to check out in just a minute. I gotta go eat. Got here late, so but glad to see you, Tom. And yeah, I saw that. That's what white owners can do. He tired of his mess. I'm not. I'm not disappointed either. What's happening? They heard about Dallas looking at him. So I had heard about it. I told you about the letting that ring go. Shoot, Kraft loved Brady. Almost like dirty draws. Heard something about Dallas talking to him. That's one of the rumors going. I'm not buying it though. I don't think he could do nothing with Dak. But Belichick is desperate because he wants to break that record. He might have to. Can't get if you can't coach in February, you might have to do something. I think this is Dak's last year there. If they don't come out, I don't see him staying beyond this year. And I know McCarthy's done. So Parcells is not in the same situation as Belichick, though. Belichick got more rings and got more sway. Well, you can say it's a bust because they ain't going to go to no Super Bowl. I don't trust Mike McCarthy. He do need out. It's not going to happen there. It's not going to happen. I just don't see it. But that's the rumor going on in the streets about Belichick. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I said that. I said after next year, year 3, not this year, but the one next, I'm buying him. I think they'll be taking over. I think this is the last year for either. They should, but you gotta remember the AFC is a lot stacked, and Kansas City ain't gonna budge. The AFC North is gonna be strong, so we'll see. They could. We'll see. But like I said, I give Love season 3 is when I expect him. I expect him and Victor Wamba to be taking over things. I expect year 3s to be big for some guys. I do. So you know. But Dallas, they got no one to blame but themselves. And I'm gonna tell you right now, somebody's gonna come out that NFC because Dallas been two-stepping it. Frisco been choking it away in Philadelphia, and Nick's that coach is on the hot seat too. So what Detroit's doing, Green Bay's doing, somebody could emerge that you didn't see. One of them teams could emerge. So we'll see. You know. But anyway, that's what's up. Well, his ego's gotten the best of him. So now he's getting older. It's been almost 30 years since Dallas has been to a Super Bowl. So he's got, you know, so I don't care less about them turkeys. He's been the problem. His ego, general manager, president, and doesn't let that team play. So Yeah, because I gotta go eat though, and I do have to go get my food because I decided to hang on just for a bit longer, and I do have to go get that meal. I'll come back on tomorrow earlier, just get back to later, but decided to hang on for a little bit. But there's not much I got to say about Jerry Jones because he he thank you, brother. Appreciate your time. Appreciate that. He just I'll share this with y'all before I go. This is the last picture of OJ. That was just sent to me, so that's the last photo of him before he passed. So anyway, I'm gonna call it a night. Appreciate everybody's comments, thoughts. Be back longer tomorrow. Have a good one. Appreciate you. Stay warm, stay safe, stay blessed. The next time we catch you, peace the best. I'm out.